Have you ever wondered what would happen if you tasked a group of people who could not read with writing a novel? You'd think they'd quit. They don't know what they're doing. They can't read. And you'd be right. A lot of them would quit because writing much harder and writing is much harder and time consuming than most people think it is, and it also has this magical property that makes you feel like garbage because it will always remind you how bad you are and how you'll never be as good and talented as your favorite sorry. So understandably, most will probably never finish writing even a full page of words unless ordered to at, say, school or work. Hell, I'd even say that most of you watching, so absolutely nobody, haven't ever written a paragraph in their lives, or they haven't written one in a long time. Most of you probably use ChatGPT or an AI tool to write mediocre slop nowadays, actually. But some people are just built different. They write stuff because they find it fun, a way to express their love for their favorite series. Like warriors, they don't care whether people find their writing good or not, and they don't care if they lack reading comprehension. They take up the Sisyphean task that is writing, so well, more like Achillean, but like, let's not talk about that. They can put all their love, passion and effort into writing the most mediocre Dragon Ball fanfiction where Videl and Panda so Gohan can become an X-Lord. This video is about Dragon Ball fanfiction, by the way. But before I get into that, please like and subscribe, please like and subscribe, please like and subscribe, please like and subscribe, sorry. When I say fanfictions, I don't mean like post-official Dragon Ball Z material or Dragon Ball GT or Dragon Ball Heroes, or what I mean is stuff like, what if Goku and Vegeta had been case? I mean, yes, Vegeta. What if Goku was betrayed in the time chamber for 1,000 years? Or like, you know, Dragon Ball AF. Just to preface, I don't want to shit on fanfic or anything, so just so you'll know, this video is not about that. I respect most fanfic writers actually, as long as they're not like, you know, Nazis, or as long as their ego is not as big as Super Shenron or something. Dragon Ball AF is what the average Latino man thinks Dragon Ball is, an endless edge fest that tries to capture what the quote-unquote essence of Dragon Ball Z. It's kind of like that meme where Luffy sees the Straw Hats die and he awakens Gear Evil, but played completely seriously. It's also much more than that. Okay, so the basic gist of Dragon Ball AF is that there's this dude called Z-Core or Zyko, who's Goku's third secret evil son he had with the Western Supreme Kai, Lila-sama. No, he didn't cheat on Chi-Chi, he's not that bad of a husband yet. Zyko is more like a clone made of Goku's DNA. Okay, so anyways, they're both super evil and they want to rule the universe or something like that, and also they really hate mortals. Wait, doesn't this just sound like... It's actually pretty hard of me to give an actual explanation to what Dragon Ball AF is, because it's more of an art movement than actual fanfiction. Nobody even knows what AF means. It doesn't help that AF content scattered around the dead internet pages, fan art, doujinshi, YouTube videos, old rumors, and I think it started as fan art made by this Hispanic dude called Carlos AF, who was kind of a lol cow a while back. This art was depicting the quote-unquote Super Saiyan 5. Actually, it's called the Spirit Killer form. I don't know why I did that Kermit voice, not gonna lie. People thought that it was an official announcement, so they immediately started to look for more, but they couldn't find anything. But that didn't stop anyone from believing otherwise, and multiple different fan arts slowly started to appear. And you'd think that the fact that none of the art actually looks like Toriyama's would at least give some pause to people, you know? Maybe have them doubt the authenticity of all these, but you gotta remember, we're dealing with Dragon Ball fans. At some point, a Japanese guy called Toby appeared and he started his own Dragon Ball AF manga. I don't know if it was the first one, but it was one of the more popular ones. So popular, in fact, that at some point Akira Toriyama chose him as his successor for Dragon Ball, and together they wrote Dragon Ball Super, the manga. All jokes aside, I really like the manga quite a bit, at least more than I like the anime for sure. It's got its issues, like I think it kind of makes Goku a bit too stupid sometimes, and it's just kind of boring and basic. Although that only really applies to what the anime covered. In my opinion, I think the manga original arcs and Superhero, not to be confused with Super Dragon Ball Heroes, are the best parts of Dragon Ball Super. Some people hate those parts though. And the resolutions for the ending of the story arcs are not always the best or good at all. But besides that, I think it's a great read if you like Dragon Ball. It has some cool fights, some fun moments here and there. It's got a nice mini arc where Teenage Goten and Trunks are pretending to be superheroes. Vegeta goes through some excellent character development, and frankly I could ramble about how much I like the Super manga, but doing so would make this video even longer and editing it would be more tedious. Fun fact, after Toriyama's tragic passing, Tablos made a drawing depicting Zico and the Tablos, the character, not himself, riding a car as a way to, cheer up Toyotaro and stuff. He liked it on Twitter, by the way. What was I talking about again before I got into this tangent? Oh right, I only really mentioned Dragon Ball Super because it has a lot of Dragon Ball AF in its DNA. It's like genuinely crazy how many ideas were taken from there, and Goku Black and Zamasu are literally the Western Supreme Kai and Zico taken word for word and made into actual Dragon Ball characters. At some point, Tablos himself started his own Dragon Ball AF manga, but I don't want to read it because it's Patreon locked. Another notable member of this Dragon Ball fanfiction community that also wrote his own AF version was this guy called Young Gigi. He has an excellent art style, and his version of Dragon Ball AF has a very similar start to Toyotaro's, with a super strong dude arriving on Earth and the remaining sea fighters or whatever gathering to fight him. Also Pan dies, so Gohan can unlock a new power-up. I don't know why she needs to die all the time if we're being honest. In Young Gigi's version, instead of Secor being the bad guy, we have a guy called Ise as the first bad guy. He's Frieza's son and obviously he's the strongest guy in the universe until he gets defeated. I'll be honest, I don't like Ise or Zikor. The craziest thing about this doujinshi is that it's still ongoing. Matter of fact, the latest chapter came out like a week ago as of recording. I think he has worked on official Dragon Ball material, but I'm not completely sure, as has this other dude called Dragon Garo Lee, who created this fanfic manga called Dragon Ball Sai. Dragon Ball Sai is a retelling of the original Dragon Ball manga with Kid Vegeta, not to be confused with Baby Vegeta, as a protagonist instead of Goku. I really like this one, mostly because it reminds me of Inio Asano's comedy style, which is very surreal and weird, and because it's fun seeing Vegeta annihilate enemies that Goku struggled against with ease, and also because his interactions with Bulma are pretty fun to watch. Overall, it's a pretty fun what-if story that reminds me of the original Dragon Ball quite a bit. Garo Lee wrote this spin-off called That Time I Got Reincarnated as Yamcha. Would you care to guess what it's about? Oh, speaking of what-ifs and fanfiction guys that have collabed with official Dragon Ball media, Dragon Ball Z Abridged is another good one.
The following is a non-profit fan-based parody. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT are all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, and Akira Toriyama. Please support the official release.
For those of you who don't know what Dragon Ball Z Abridged is, that's crazy, because it was super popular a while back. It's this very high effort and high quality parody fandom of Dragon Ball, and between you and me, it hasn't aged well.
Especially that one in the front. Looks like a total...
Well, if I'm being honest, it's a great watch nonetheless. It's the origin of many Dragon Ball jokes that many fans use.
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
As well as a test to see how big of a Dragon Ball fan you are, cause a lot of jokes reference the most obscure things imaginable, like old dubs that are probably lost media by now.
Little Green!
It's Big Green!
A lot of Dragon Ball fans confuse what happens in Dragon Ball Abridged with what happens in the actual show. Sometimes this happens to me, but let's not talk about that. It's the best unofficial Dragon Ball fan media in my opinion. It's both extremely faithful to the source material, barring some mischaracterizations here and there which have poisoned the Dragon Ball discourse well. Although some of those mischaracterizations kind of enhance some lesser developed characters, like Lord Guru for example, who was barely even a character in the Namek arc in the original, but in Dragon Ball Z Abridged he's like the best part of the arc.
I am hilarious, and you will quote everything I say.
4 Stars had a cameo in Dragon Ball Z Kai that got removed because of reasons we don't actually know, but some speculate that Toei didn't like it because they really hate Dragon Ball Z Abridged. What else? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they referenced Dragon Ball Z Abridged in Dragon Ball Super at least once, but that may just be a stretch.
Isn't that weird, Black Man?
Yeah, almost as weird as what's gonna happen if you call me that again.
What is he?
This is just my personal opinion, but I believe that Toriyama, before writing Dragon Ball Super, watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and that's the reason why Goku is so, to put it kindly, so Fred Ficklehorn coded, let's just say.
Kakarot, you've never kissed someone, huh?
This middle-aged man is married and has 2 kids, 3 if you wanna count Secor. The last Dragon Ball fanfiction I wanna talk about before this video ends is Dragon Ball Multiverse, written by Gogeta Jr., Asura, and Salagir. Pretty sure this one was based on video games like Budokai Tenkaichi and some sort of delirium that the team had before writing it, because it's so dumb. It's about a multiversal tournament where different versions of each Dragon Ball up to Z characters fight to the death. But wait a second, doesn't this just sound like... No, it doesn't, but I'd like to think that this manga that came out before Dragon Ball Super inspired the Tournament of Power. Anyways, what makes this one stand out is that when I say literally every single Dragon Ball character ever, I mean it. Ariel from Dr. Slump, which is not even a Dragon Ball series. Yeah, she's Cargo, that super minor character from the Namek arc who has like 2 seconds of screen time, with one of those being his dead body lying around on the floor. Yeah, he's definitely there. Upa, that young boy from all the way back, the Red Ribbon Army arc, he's probably around. It's fun seeing how all these different versions of the characters interact, and okay, so I don't really like this one because it's essentially that one meme where Will Smith's like, you have good writing, and then a white robot thing is like, now we have hype moments and aura. But besides that, it's a project with a lot of passion put behind it. It has a website and everything. It has fucking spin-off comics made for that. I highly recommend that you read it. Also, fun fact, it's about as long as the Dragon Ball Super manga, no joke. But yeah, Panda is in this one too. She gets done in by Bojack, not the horse. The green guy who really hates Gohan in that movie. I know why she has to die all the time. So in conclusion, read fanfiction or something. Also, shout out to Kanzenshu, the website, the Tao of Dragon Ball, for basically writing this video for me. Take care and see you in the next one, if there's a next one.